Before you surrender, watch this video. Life can be an unforgiving tempest, testing you in ways that shake your fortitude and determination. Believe me, I've been there. There were moments when I felt overwhelmed by setbacks, with no rescue in sight. Perhaps you've experienced the same, balancing on the precipice, questioning if perseverance is worthwhile. But here's a stark reality. The times when you feel closest to giving up are often when you stand on the verge of a breakthrough. It's during these darkest hours that you unearth your true resilience. I'm here to offer something unconventional, not the typical motivational speech, but 7 provocative lessons grounded in Stoic philosophy that can help you discover that inner strength precisely when you need it most. These are not comforting cliches, they are blunt, truthful insights that challenge conventional wisdom. They may be hard to digest, but they can shift your perspective and bolster your resilience. I've personally applied these principles in my own life, and they've guided me through some of my toughest challenges. So, if you're prepared to confront these unvarnished truths that can anchor you when everything else is falling apart, join me. Let's delve into these 7 lessons that could revolutionize how you confront adversity. Your journey to resilience starts now. Lesson 1. Welcome pain as a mentor. Most people shy away from pain, but what if enduring it could make you stronger? Pain is not your adversary, it is your greatest teacher. It reveals your limits and shows you where you need to grow. Stoicism teaches us to face pain head-on, recognizing that suffering is a natural part of life that shapes our character. Don't avoid discomfort. Instead, use it to strengthen your resolve. I recall a time when I was at my lowest. I had just lost my job, and everything seemed to be falling apart. The pain was overwhelming, and it felt like I was trapped in a dark tunnel with no end in sight. Every day was a struggle to get out of bed. I wanted to escape, to numb the pain, but then I discovered a Stoic principle that shifted my perspective. Pain is a teacher. At first it seemed counterintuitive. How could this suffering possibly teach me anything? But as I sat with my pain, I began to understand its lessons. It forced me to face my fears and insecurities, to question my values and what truly mattered to me. Pain became a mirror, reflecting my deepest truths and pushing me to grow in ways I hadn't imagined. Pain strips away the superficial, demanding that you confront yourself, raw and unfiltered. In these moments of intense discomfort, you find your true strength. The world often encourages us to avoid pain and seek comfort, but the Stoics understood that pain is an unavoidable part of life. Instead of running from it, they embraced it as a vital part of personal growth. Think of physical training. Lifting weights tears muscle fibers and causes pain, but it is this very process that leads to muscle growth and increased strength. The same principle applies to emotional and mental pain. It breaks you down, yes, but it also builds you up. Each moment of suffering is an opportunity to become stronger and more resilient. There was a night when I felt completely defeated. I was sitting alone in my apartment, overwhelmed by a sense of failure. The weight of my circumstances was crushing me, but in that solitude, I began to see the lesson pain was offering. It was teaching me perseverance, patience, and humility. It was reminding me that life's greatest lessons often come wrapped in hardship. Embrace your pain. Let it guide you, showing you where you need to grow and what you need to change. Don't numb it with distractions or flee from it in fear. Face it, learn from it, and let it shape you into a stronger, wiser person. Pain is not your enemy, it is your greatest teacher. Lesson 2. Finding strength through solitude. In a world that celebrates constant connection, choosing solitude might seem unusual, But stepping away from the noise can help you find clarity and strength within yourself. Solitude isn't about being lonely. It's a chance to reconnect with your inner values and purpose. When you feel overwhelmed, seeking solitude might be the most empowering choice you can make. There's a significant difference between being alone and feeling lonely. I used to fear solitude, thinking it meant failure or social rejection. Yet, during the toughest times in my life, when I felt isolated from the world, I discovered the profound strength of solitude. It offers a rare opportunity for reflection and renewal. Without the constant input of others, you can turn inward and explore your own thoughts and feelings. It's a space where you can confront your fears, challenge your beliefs, and rediscover what truly matters to you. Think about this. We're constantly bombarded with messages that we must stay connected, share every experience, and seek validation from others. This external noise can drown out your inner voice. Solitude offers a chance to quiet these distractions and listen to yourself. It's not about shunning social interaction, but about finding balance and inner strength. Some of my most transformative moments have come during times of solitude. When I lost my job, I felt deserted and alone, but instead of seeking distractions, I embraced the quiet. I took long hikes, wrote in my journal, and meditated. It was in these moments that I found clarity and a renewed sense of purpose. Solitude taught me to be at ease with myself, to face my fears without relying on constant companionship. It was in solitude that I made some of my most significant decisions and found the strength to move forward. I learned that my worth is not determined by others' opinions, but by my own understanding and acceptance of myself. Many of history's greatest thinkers, artists, and leaders have sought solitude as a source of inspiration and strength. They understood that to truly know themselves and their path, they needed to step away from the crowd. Solitude isn't a retreat from life, but a deeper engagement with it. When you feel like giving up, consider seeking solitude. It might seem counterintuitive in a world that values constant interaction, but it can be incredibly powerful. Solitude allows you to recharge, find your center, and emerge stronger and more focused. Embrace the silence, and you might find the answers you've been searching for. Lesson 3. Release your attachment to goals. Goals are often held up as essential for success, but they can also become a heavy burden. When your goals start to overwhelm you, it might be time to release them. Instead, focus on the process and the present moment. The Stoics taught us to embrace the journey rather than fixating on the destination. By letting go of rigid expectations, you open yourself up to growth and adaptability without the constant pressure of achievement. I used to be fixated on setting goals. I had elaborate lists, vision boards, and daily affirmations. I believed that by setting clear and ambitious goals, I could steer my destiny. But over time, I discovered that my goals were causing more anxiety than inspiration. Every missed milestone felt like a personal setback. I was constantly stressed, trying to force progress, and when things didn't go as planned, it undermined my confidence. It was draining, and I began to question the worth of these goals that were meant to motivate me. Here's the unvarnished truth. Goals can become chains that hold you back. They can trap you in a cycle of relentless striving and disappointment, especially when they are rigid and unrealistic. The Stoics advise us to focus on what we can control, our actions and attitudes, rather than the outcomes, which are often beyond our influence. When I released my attachment to rigid goals, something wonderful happened. I began to live more in the moment and appreciate the journey itself. Instead of fixating on the end result, I started to enjoy the process, giving my best each day and finding satisfaction in the effort. This shift in perspective was incredibly freeing. Releasing your attachment to goals doesn't mean abandoning ambition or settling for less. It means letting go of the pressure for specific outcomes and embracing the natural flow of life. It's about setting intentions and working diligently while remaining open to where the journey leads you. This flexibility fosters growth and resilience, making you less susceptible to feelings of defeat. One of the most profound insights I've gained is that life is inherently unpredictable. No matter how carefully we plan, we cannot control every outcome. By releasing rigid goals, we become more adaptable and open to unforeseen opportunities. We learn to trust the process and ourselves. Since I stopped obsessing over precise goals, I've found greater peace and satisfaction in my life. I still have dreams and aspirations, but I'm no longer bound by a strict timeline or outcome. I focus on what I can do each day to move forward and trust that the journey will guide me where I need to go. Some of the most successful and content people didn't follow a rigid path. They embraced change, were willing to adapt, and found joy in the process rather than just the results. They understood that true success lies in growth, learning, and resilience. When you find your goals becoming a burden, take a step back. Release the need for specific outcomes and concentrate on the journey. Embrace the present moment, give your best effort, and trust that you are on the right path. Letting go of rigid goals can be the key to unlocking a more fulfilling and resilient life. Lesson 4. Embrace challenges over comfort. Society often pushes us to seek comfort and avoid challenges, but genuine strength comes from facing adversity rather than evading it. By actively placing yourself in challenging situations, you build resilience. The more you confront difficulties, the stronger you become. Comfort zones stifle growth, so stepping out of them regularly will reveal what you're truly capable of. I used to gravitate towards comfort in every aspect of my life. I opted for the easy path, steering clear of anything that felt too hard or risky. But I soon realized that this approach was limiting my potential. I was stagnating because I wasn't challenging myself. The turning point came when I took a job that was completely outside my comfort zone. It was a role that demanded skills I didn't possess and tested my limits. Although I was scared, I knew I needed change. The first few months were incredibly tough. I made countless mistakes and often doubted myself, but each challenge I faced made me stronger. I developed new skills, built resilience, and gained confidence in my ability to handle difficult situations. Embracing challenges doesn't mean recklessly seeking danger. It means seizing opportunities that push you beyond your limits. True growth happens outside your comfort zone. By facing and overcoming obstacles, you create a foundation of strength and resilience that prepares you for future adversities. Think back to the times when you grew the most. They were likely not periods of ease and comfort, but times of struggle and challenge. Every obstacle you overcome adds to your strength and character, equipping you with the skills and confidence needed for future challenges. Reflecting on my toughest experiences, I see how they've shaped me into who I am today. They taught me perseverance, resourcefulness, and resilience, qualities that didn't come from a life of comfort, but from confronting difficulties head-on. Challenges are hidden opportunities that force you to adapt, innovate, and grow. By actively seeking challenges, you take charge of your development, becoming proactive rather than reactive, and building the resilience necessary to navigate life's inevitable hardships. Since adopting this mindset, I've pursued challenges in various aspects of my life. Whether it's tackling a demanding work project, learning a new skill, or stepping into a leadership role, each challenge has been a chance for growth. It hasn't always been easy, but the rewards have been immense. Comfort zones may be tempting, but they lead to stagnation and mediocrity. To truly thrive, you must regularly step outside them, embrace challenges, seek opportunities that stretch your limits, and you will uncover strengths and abilities you never knew you had. When you feel like giving up, remember that comfort is not your ally. Challenge is. Embrace difficulties. Let them forge you into a stronger, more resilient person. The path to growth is tough, but it's incredibly rewarding. Don't shy away from challenges. They are the crucible in which your true strength is forged. Lesson 5. Embrace the unknown. Life is inherently unpredictable, and striving to control every aspect of it is ultimately futile. Instead, welcome the uncertainty and chaos as integral parts of your journey. Stoicism teaches us to accept what we cannot change and to focus our efforts on what we can influence. By ceasing to resist uncertainty, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and anxiety. Embrace the unknown with grace and resilience. I used to be a control enthusiast, meticulously planning every detail of my life in an effort to avoid uncertainty. Yet, no matter how thorough my plans were, life always seemed to throw unexpected challenges my way. Each surprise would lead me to anxiety and frustration. I came to realize that my obsession with control was creating more stress than the uncertainties themselves. The turning point for me came when I encountered the Stoic idea of accepting what is beyond our control. This concept was both liberating and daunting. It required letting go of the illusion of control and accepting the natural unpredictability of life. Initially, this was a challenging shift. Letting go of control felt like stepping into the unknown, but as I practiced acceptance, I began to appreciate the beauty of uncertainty. I learned to focus on what I could control, my actions, attitudes, and responses to obstacles. This shift in perspective brought a new sense of peace and resilience. Life is full of uncertainties. Striving to control everything is not only impossible, but also counterproductive. It drains your energy and creates unnecessary stress. By embracing uncertainty, you open yourself up to new possibilities and opportunities. You become more adaptable and resilient, better prepared for whatever challenges come your way. I recall a time when my plans for a significant work project fell apart due to unforeseen circumstances. Initially, I was devastated, feeling as though everything was spiraling out of control. But then I reminded myself of the Stoic principle of embracing uncertainty. I focused on what I could control, my effort, my attitude, and my problem-solving skills. This mindset helped me navigate the chaos and ultimately turn the situation around. Embracing uncertainty does not mean being passive or complacent. It's about being proactive in the face of unpredictability, finding strength in your ability to adapt and respond. It's about trusting that you have the resilience to handle whatever comes your way. The more you practice embracing uncertainty, the more you strengthen your tolerance for it. You begin to view challenges as opportunities for growth rather than as threats. This shift in mindset can transform your approach to life, making you more resilient and less prone to stress and anxiety. When uncertainty overwhelms you, take a step back and remind yourself that it is a natural part of life. Focus on what you can control and release the rest. Approach the unknown with curiosity and resilience. Trust in your ability to navigate through it. Uncertainty is not your enemy, it is a companion on your journey. Embrace it, and you will discover a sense of peace and strength amidst the chaos. Lesson 6. Let go of outcomes. Holding on too tightly to specific outcomes can lead to frustration and disappointment. The Stoic philosophers teach us to focus on our efforts and release our attachment to particular results. This doesn't mean you shouldn't have goals or ambitions, but it does mean that you shouldn't base your self-worth and happiness on achieving those goals. By letting go of outcomes, you can find more peace and resilience in the journey. I used to be heavily invested in my goals and the outcomes I imagined. I thought that achieving these specific results was the key to my happiness and success. However, this attachment brought immense pressure and anxiety. Every setback felt like a personal failure, and I was constantly stressed, fearing that I wouldn't meet my desired outcomes. My perspective shifted when I began studying Stoic philosophy. The concept of focusing on my efforts and releasing attachment to outcomes was eye-opening. It taught me to do my best and then let go, trusting that the results were beyond my control. This change in mindset brought me a deep sense of peace and freedom. When you release your attachment to outcomes, you liberate yourself from the fear of failure. You focus on the process, on putting forth your best effort, and on growing through the experience. This doesn't mean you disregard the results, but rather you acknowledge that they are not entirely in your control. I recall working on a project that was extremely important to me. I invested my heart and soul into it, but despite my best efforts, it didn't achieve the success I had hoped for. At first, I was heartbroken. But then I remembered the Stoic principle of letting go of outcomes. I had done everything I could, and that was all that mattered. I gained valuable insights from the experience and found comfort in knowing I had given it my all. Letting go of outcomes makes you more resilient in the face of setbacks. It lessens the stress and anxiety that come with striving for specific results. You become more present, focused on the journey itself, and find joy and satisfaction in the process. This shift in perspective can transform your approach to challenges and goals. Instead of being driven by fear and attachment, you are motivated by a desire to do your best and grow. You become more adaptable and open to new possibilities, less rigid and more resilient. When you're tempted to give up, remember that your worth and happiness are not tied to specific outcomes. Concentrate on your efforts, strive to do your best, and let go of the need for particular results. Trust that you have the strength and resilience to handle whatever comes your way. By releasing attachment to outcomes, you will discover a sense of peace and fulfillment in the process. Lesson 7. Reflect on mortality. Though it might seem somber, contemplating mortality can offer profound motivation and clarity. The Stoics often meditated on death to appreciate the fleeting nature of life. Recognizing the limits of your time fosters urgency and focus. Let this awareness guide you to prioritize what truly matters and to persevere through challenges. Initially, I avoided thoughts of mortality, finding them morbid and unsettling, something to be feared or ignored. However, as I explored Stoic philosophy, I discovered the transformative power of reflecting on death. For the Stoics, contemplating mortality wasn't about dwelling in fear, but about gaining insight and perspective. This practice has been deeply impactful in my life, reminding me of the finite and precious nature of time. It helps me cut through trivial concerns and concentrate on what is genuinely important. It instills a sense of urgency to live meaningfully, follow my passions, and embrace each moment. Reflecting on mortality deepens your appreciation for life and puts worries into perspective. It shows that many of your concerns are minor in the grand scheme of things, offering both liberation and inspiration. During a particularly tough period in my life, feeling overwhelmed and ready to give up, I began to meditate on the notion of mortality. I asked myself, if today were my last day, would I be content with how I'm living my life? This question sparked a profound shift in my perspective, helping me refocus on my goals, eliminate distractions, and concentrate on what truly matters to me. Contemplating mortality also strengthens resilience in the face of adversity. It reminds you that life's difficulties are temporary and that your time is limited. This realization can provide the courage to face challenges with grace and determination. When you feel like giving up, take a moment to reflect on your mortality. Ask yourself what genuinely matters, and let this awareness drive your actions. Use it as a source of motivation to live fully, pursue your passions, and find meaning in every moment. Life is brief and unpredictable. Reflecting on mortality isn't about succumbing to fear, but about finding clarity and purpose. Embrace this practice to cultivate a renewed sense of direction and resilience.